Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to close your eyes for just a moment and imagine yourself standing in the middle of the darkest night of your life. The world feels silent, yet inside you, there's a storm that refuses to calm. You've lost the job you thought defined you. The people you trusted walked away. The mirror reflects someone you don't even recognize anymore. Bills pile up, mistakes haunt you, and every thought whispers the same question: am I even worth it anymore? That's rock bottom. And if you've ever been there, you know it isn't just a place, it's a feeling that seeps into your bones. But let me tell you a story. Not just my story. Not just your story. A story that belongs to all of us. A story of loss, of despair, of shattered dreams, and of a comeback so powerful it can shake the dust off anyone's soul. The Fall. There was once a man, I'll call him Daniel. Daniel wasn't extraordinary by the world's standards, but in his heart, he believed he was destined for something great. He worked hard, studied harder, and built a life that others envied. A stable job. A family he adored. Friends who cheered him on. But life doesn't always care about your plans. One by one, the pillars holding Daniel's life began to crumble. The company he gave everything to laid him off without a second thought. The people he trusted most distanced themselves when he had nothing left to offer. His marriage, strained under the weight of stress and silence, broke apart. And the man who once stood tall now found himself sleeping on a couch he didn't own, staring at the ceiling night after night, asking, how did I end up here? The truth is, Daniel's story could be anyone's. It could be mine. It could be yours. Because life has a way of testing us, of bringing us to our knees, reminding us that we are fragile. And when you're at rock bottom, you feel invisible. You feel forgotten. You feel like hope is a word written for someone else. The spark. But here's the part people forget: rock bottom isn't the end. It's the foundation. One cold night, Daniel wandered the city streets, pockets empty, spirit broken. He passed by a small diner. The smell of fresh coffee pulled him in, but he had no money. He sat in the corner anyway, just to feel human again, just to be surrounded by life. The waitress, a woman with kind eyes, noticed his worn clothes and tired face. She placed a steaming cup of coffee in front of him and said, "It's on the house." That simple act of kindness broke something open inside him. It wasn't the coffee, it was the reminder that he was still seen. Still worthy of compassion. Still human. That night, Daniel cried into that cup of coffee like it was holy water. Because in that moment, he realized, if one stranger still believed he was worth a cup of kindness, maybe he could start believing it too. The climb. From that day forward, Daniel made a choice. Not a grand one. Not a miraculous one. Just a simple choice, one step at a time. He started by walking. Every morning, he walked around the block, forcing his body to move when his mind didn't want to. Then he picked up books from the library, books about resilience, about people who lost everything and still rebuilt. He scribbled down notes in an old notebook, reminding himself, if they can, so can I. He found a shelter that offered free classes in computer skills. He swallowed his pride, sat in the back, and learned like a child again. Each skill became a brick. Each day became a brick. Slowly, painfully, he began to rebuild the house of his life, one brick at a time. But the real turning point didn't come from what Daniel did for himself. It came from what he did for others. At the shelter, he met a young boy, no older than 12, who sat quietly in the corner, clutching a backpack with all his belongings. Daniel recognized the look in his eyes, it was the same emptiness he once saw in the mirror. So Daniel began tutoring him, helping him with homework, encouraging him when he wanted to give up. And one day, the boy looked at him and said, "You make me believe I can be something someday." That sentence shattered the last chain holding Daniel down. Because suddenly, his life wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about impact. He realized that even in his brokenness, he had the power to lift someone else. And that is where the comeback truly begins. The rise. Years passed. Daniel got a steady job. He rebuilt his confidence. The people who once doubted him now looked at him with respect. But he didn't stop there. He started a small non-profit dedicated to helping others who had hit rock bottom, teaching them not just skills, but hope. His story spread. Not because he was perfect, but because he was honest. Because he admitted he had fallen apart. Because he admitted that he once thought it was over. Daniel stood on stages, telling people, rock bottom isn't your burial ground, it's the solid ground you push yourself up from. And the world listened. The lesson. Here's what I want you to hear today. Every single one of us has a rock bottom. It may not look like Daniel's. Yours might be the loss of someone you loved. Or a dream that slipped through your hands. Or a mistake that still keeps you up at night. Maybe your rock bottom is invisible to the world, but it's heavy, isn't it? But remember this, rock bottom is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your comeback. Kindness saved Daniel. Compassion lit his path. And generosity gave his pain a purpose. And those same tools are available to you. So when you feel like you've lost everything, give something. When you feel invisible, make someone else feel seen. When you feel powerless, use what little you have to change even one life. Because that one act may just save you, too. The climax. Let me take you back to that diner. Years later, Daniel returned. He walked in, dressed in a suit this time, with a smile that spoke of battles won. The same waitress was there, older now but still with those kind eyes. He placed $100 bill on the table and said, "This is for the coffee you gave me when I had nothing. You didn't just give me coffee. You gave me a reason to believe again." She cried. He cried. The whole diner fell silent, because in that moment, everyone understood something profound. A simple act of compassion can ignite a chain reaction powerful enough to change a life forever. The call to you. And now, I turn to you. Maybe you're sitting here today thinking your story is over. Maybe you're convinced the mistakes you've made or the losses you've suffered are too heavy to carry. But let Daniel's story remind you, your comeback is waiting. And it begins not with a miracle, but with a choice. A choice to take one step. A choice to believe in yourself again. A choice to show kindness, even when you feel broken. Because when you give light to others, you'll find that your own darkness begins to fade. The uplifting close. So here's the truth, you are stronger than you think. You are braver than you believe. And no matter how far you've fallen, there is always a way to rise. Rock bottom is not your prison. It's your foundation. And your comeback story, the one the world is waiting to hear, starts today. Rise. Not just for yourself. But for every soul who needs to see that it's possible. Rise because your story matters. Rise because the world is waiting. From rock bottom, to rise. Your comeback story is about to be written. Thank you.